the funniest part of the whole story, the part that keeps me awake at night with a smile stretched across my face, is that they still think your failures were losses. Good morning, you beautiful disasters. Good morning to the people who got laughed at before they got respected. Good morning to the ones who were underestimated, dismissed, ignored, betrayed, mocked, analyzed, studied, and counted out. And a very special good evening to the people they thought would never recover. Because tonight, we're going to talk about the mistake they made. Not your mistake, theirs. See, everybody loves success. Everybody worships the winner. Everybody bows to the person standing on top of the mountain. But nobody pays attention when someone is bleeding at the bottom of it. Nobody studies the broken version. Nobody fears the unfinished version. Nobody notices the monster being assembled in the dark. And that's exactly why they're fucked. Because while they were celebrating your losses, you were manufacturing weapons. You thought you were suffering. You thought life was punishing you. You thought those humiliations were random. You thought those sleepless nights were evidence you were falling apart. No, something much darker was happening. Every failure was removing a weakness. Every betrayal was sharpening your instincts. Every humiliation was burning away your dependency on approval. Every rejection was teaching you how to survive alone. And the terrifying part, the truly terrifying part, is that nobody noticed the transformation while it was happening. You know why? Because evolution is silent. People notice explosions. They don't notice pressure. People notice victory. They don't notice preparation. People notice confidence. They don't notice the years spent drowning in self-doubt. The cocoon never gets applause. Only the butterfly does. But here's where the story becomes dangerous. Because you didn't come out of your failures softer. You came out colder, wiser, sharper, harder to manipulate, harder to deceive, harder to break. And now the same people who enjoyed watching you lose are staring at the consequences. See, they thought your failures were tombstones. Turns out they were training grounds. They thought they were witnessing the end of your story. Turns out they were witnessing the beginning of their problem. Because pain does something fascinating to a human being. Pain strips away illusions. Pain destroys fantasy. Pain introduces reality. And reality creates monsters. Not monsters in the way movies describe them. I'm talking about something much scarier. A person who no longer needs permission. A person who no longer fears rejection. A person who no longer depends on validation. A person who has already survived their worst nightmare. How do you threaten someone who has already been broken? How do you intimidate someone who has already lost everything? How do you control someone who discovered they can survive alone? You can't. That's why they're panicking. Because the version of you they understood is dead. The predictable version. The needy version. The insecure version. The version that begged for acceptance. The version that cared what everybody thought. Gone, buried, rotting somewhere in the ruins of your old life. And what replaced it, they don't recognize. You walk differently now. You think differently now. You see differently now. You listen differently now. The same situations that once shattered you now barely raise your heartbeat. The same insults that once haunted you now sound like background noise. The same obstacles that once looked impossible now look familiar. Because you've been here before. You know this territory. You've already survived it. That's what they don't understand. Failure isn't dangerous. repeated failure is. Not because it destroys people, because eventually it stops hurting them. And when failure stops hurting, fear stops controlling. And when fear stops controlling, people become unpredictable. Now imagine being one of the people who laughed at you. Imagine watching someone fail again and again and again, watching them get knocked down repeatedly, watching life hammer them into the ground, and then suddenly, one day, they stand up, different, calm, silent, focused. No anger, no complaints, no need for applause, just movement, just action, just results. That's terrifying, because now they realize something. Everything they thought was destroying you was training you. Every obstacle became endurance. Every betrayal became awareness. Every loss became strategy. Every humiliation became armor. Every heartbreak became ammunition. Every failure became a weapon. And now those weapons belong to you. Think about that. The very experiences that were supposed to weaken you are now the reason you're dangerous. The reason you can walk into uncertainty without flinching. The reason you can operate under pressure while others panic. The reason you can keep moving while everyone else collapses. The reason you can stare directly into chaos and remain calm. Because chaos isn't new to you. Chaos raised you. Chaos educated you. Chaos built you. You learned lessons in storms that comfortable people never had to learn. You discovered strength in places most people avoid. You found identity in darkness. You found purpose in suffering. You found power in abandonment. You found clarity inside confusion. And that changes a person forever. The world has a strange habit. It respects scars after it mocked wounds. Remember that. The same people who criticize your struggle today will admire your resilience tomorrow. The same people who laughed when you fell will study how you stood back up. The same people who doubted your future will someday claim they always believed in you. Human beings worship results. They ignore construction, and that's why they keep getting surprised. Because they don't understand what pain is creating behind the scenes. But you do. You know exactly what it creates. It creates depth. It creates perspective. It creates discipline. It creates patience. It creates emotional endurance. It creates psychological resilience. It creates a level of internal strength that cannot be purchased, borrowed, inherited, or faked. And once you possess that strength, everything changes. The room changes. The energy changes. The game changes. The rules change. Because now you're no longer trying to prove something. You're trying to build something. And builders are infinitely more dangerous than performers. Performers want attention. Builders want outcomes. Performers chase applause. Builders chase mastery. Performers need an audience. Builders need a mission. And that's the moment they realize they're trapped. Because while they were watching your failures, you were becoming the person capable of succeeding beyond their imagination. Not despite the pain, because of it. Not despite the losses, because of them. Not despite the darkness, because you learned how to see in it. And that's when panic enters their hearts. Because suddenly they understand. They didn't witness your destruction. They witnessed your construction. Every disaster was a blueprint. Every setback was a lesson. Every collapse was a redesign. Every ending was preparation. And now the final product is standing in front of them, calm, focused, unapologetic, unshakable, looking nothing like the person they underestimated. The joke is over. The laughter is gone. The predictions failed. The narrative collapsed. And the person they buried in their minds years ago is walking toward them stronger than ever. That realization, that horrifying realization, is why they can't sleep, because they finally understand what you understood long ago. Failures don't always destroy people. Sometimes they forge them, sometimes they sharpen them, sometimes they transform them into something the world cannot control. And when that happens, the people who benefited from your weakness suddenly become terrified of your strength, because the broken pieces they laughed at have become blades. The scars they mocked have become armor. The pain they celebrated has become fuel. And the failures they thought would finish you have become weapons they can't survive. And here's the part nobody talks about, the part hidden beneath all the motivational posters, the part hidden beneath the success stories, the part hidden beneath the smiling photographs and victory speeches. Because everybody loves hearing about the comeback. Nobody wants to hear about the burial. Nobody wants to hear about what had to die for that comeback to exist. You do, because you've lived it. You remember the nights, the real nights, not the romanticized versions people post online. The nights where the ceiling became your enemy. The nights where silence sounded louder than thunder. The nights where your own thoughts became interrogation rooms. The nights where you questioned everything. Your value, your purpose, your future, your sanity, your ability, your worth. You remember staring into darkness, wondering if the universe had singled you out for punishment, wondering why everyone else seemed to be moving forward while you felt trapped in quicksand, wondering why every door slammed shut, why every plan collapsed, why every relationship cracked, why every effort seemed cursed. You remember that version of yourself, the version that felt abandoned by life itself. And here's what makes this story terrifying. That version didn't disappear. No, that version still exists, inside you, watching, waiting, remembering every wound, every betrayal, every humiliation, every broken promise, every moment somebody underestimated you. And while the world thinks those memories are weaknesses, they're actually coordinates. Coordinates leading back to the fire that built you. See, people misunderstand pain. They think pain exists to hurt. Pain doesn't exist to hurt. Pain exists to reveal. Pain reveals who stays. Pain reveals who leaves. Pain reveals what matters. Pain reveals what survives. And most importantly, pain reveals who you really are when every illusion has been ripped away. That's why your failures became weapons. Because every failure forced a revelation. Every collapse showed you something you were too blind to see before. Every disappointment removed another layer of fantasy. Every disaster stripped away another illusion, until eventually, nothing fake remained. And that is dangerous, terrifyingly dangerous, because most people spend their lives protected by illusions. Illusions of security, illusions of certainty, illusions of control, illusions of permanence. You don't. Those illusions died years ago. You've already watched things collapse. You've already watched plans disintegrate. You've already watched certainty evaporate. You've already watched trusted people transform into strangers. You've already watched dreams burn. So now, what exactly are they supposed to threaten you with? Loss? You've met loss. Failure? You've survived failure. Loneliness? You've made peace with loneliness. Rejection? You've been rejected enough times to stop bleeding from it. That's why they're fucked. because they're trying to fight the current version of you using weapons that only worked on the old version. And the old version no longer exists. Imagine trying to scare a man with darkness after he spent years living inside it. Imagine trying to intimidate a person with chaos after chaos became their teacher. Imagine trying to break someone who has already rebuilt themselves from scratch multiple times. The strategy doesn't work anymore. The formula is broken. The script is broken. The game is broken. And deep down, they know it. That's why they keep watching. That's why they keep checking. That's why they keep paying attention even when they pretend not to. Because people become obsessed with things they can't understand. And they don't understand you anymore. They understood you when you were desperate. They understood you when you were insecure. They understood you when you needed validation. But this version, the version that keeps moving without applause, the version that keeps building without recognition, the version that remains calm while everyone else panics, that version terrifies them because it operates from a different source. Most people are powered by rewards. You're powered by memory. Most people need motivation. You need reminders. Most people move toward pleasure. You move with the knowledge of what happens when you stop. That's a completely different psychology, a completely different animal. And that's why your intensity feels unnatural to them. Because they don't see what you see. They don't hear what you hear. Every time you think about quitting, the ghosts return. The memories return. The moments return. The betrayals, the disrespect, the humiliation, the doubt, the loneliness, the moments when nobody showed up, the moments when nobody believed, the moments when nobody cared. Those memories don't weaken you. They activate you. They remind you. They sharpen you. They focus you. And suddenly the exhaustion disappears. Suddenly the excuses disappear. Suddenly the distractions disappear. Because you've remembered something. You've remembered the cost of staying weak. And once you've experienced that cost, comfort loses its seduction. Comfort starts looking dangerous. Comfort starts looking suspicious. Comfort starts looking like a trap. Because every meaningful transformation in your life began with discomfort. Every lesson came from struggle. Every breakthrough came from pressure. Every evolution came from adversity. Every weapon came from a wound. That's the secret nobody tells you. Strength is usually born wearing the mask of suffering. The opportunity usually arrives disguised as catastrophe. The breakthrough usually enters dressed like disaster. That's why average people run from the very things that create greatness. They're looking at the furnace and only seeing fire. You're looking at the furnace and seeing transformation. They're seeing pain. You're seeing construction. They're seeing endings. You're seeing beginnings. And that difference changes everything. Because eventually there comes a moment, a strange moment, a dangerous moment, a moment where you stop asking why it happened and start asking what it created. What did the betrayal create? Awareness. What did the rejection create? Independence. What did the failure create? Resilience. What did the heartbreak create? Depth. What did the loneliness create? Self-reliance. What did the suffering create? You. Not the old you. The real you. The version hidden underneath all the conditioning. The version hidden underneath all the fear. The version hidden underneath all the approval seeking. The version hidden underneath all the masks. And once that version emerges, there is no going back. Because now you've seen what you're capable of surviving. and that knowledge changes your relationship with fear forever. Fear survives by convincing you that you can't handle what comes next. But you've already handled things you once thought would destroy you. Think about that. The things you cried about surviving. You survived. The things you lost sleep over. You survived. The things you thought would end your story. You survived. The things that felt like death. You survived. And now those experiences stand behind you like an army of evidence. Proof that you're far more dangerous than your doubts ever admitted. Proof that you're far stronger than your fears ever claimed. Proof that every battle left something behind. A lesson, a scar, a weapon, a piece of armor, a deeper understanding, a sharper instinct, a stronger mind. And while others were collecting excuses, you were collecting weapons. While others were collecting comfort, you were collecting resilience. While others were collecting validation, you were collecting power. The kind of power nobody notices until it's too late. The kind of power that develops underground. The kind of power that grows in silence. The kind of power that doesn't announce itself. The kind of power that simply arrives one day and changes everything. That's when the panic truly begins. Not when you talk, not when you threaten, not when you explain. No. The panic begins when they realize you no longer need them. The panic begins when they realize your confidence is no longer rented from outside sources. The panic begins when they realize your strength isn't dependent on circumstances. The panic begins when they realize your identity survived every storm designed to erase it, because now they're staring at something they never planned for. A person whose failures became weapons. A person whose pain became fuel. A person whose scars became armor. A person whose darkness became vision. A person whose destruction became construction. And worst of all, a person who finally understands exactly how powerful they are becoming. And that's the moment everything becomes clear. Not to them, to you. Because one day you wake up and realize you're no longer trying to prove them wrong. You've outgrown that. You're no longer chasing revenge. You're no longer chasing validation. You're no longer chasing applause. You're chasing something much more dangerous. Your potential. And once a person becomes obsessed with discovering their true potential, the world better get out of the way. Because now every failure has a purpose. Every scar has meaning. Every setback has value. Every dark chapter becomes evidence. Evidence that you survived what was supposed to destroy you. Evidence that you're still standing. Evidence that the fire didn't consume you. It forged you. Look at yourself. Really look. The person standing here today is not the person who entered the storm. That version died. The fear died. The dependency died. The weakness died. The illusion died. And from that grave, something stronger walked out. Something calmer. Something sharper. Something that understands a truth most people never learn. The truth that pain is not always punishment. Sometimes pain is preparation. Sometimes failure is training. Sometimes destruction is construction in disguise. And that's why they're fucked. Because they celebrated your losses without realizing they were watching your transformation. They laughed while you evolved. They doubted while you adapted. They judged while you sharpened. They slept while you became something they never prepared for. Now the game has changed. Now the rules have changed. Now the person they thought they knew exists only in memory. And standing in their place is someone built from storms. Someone built from pressure. Someone built from failure. someone built from fire. So let them panic, let them watch, let them wonder what happened. You know what happened. Your failures became weapons, your wounds became wisdom, your darkness became vision, and your suffering became strength. The joke was never on you. The joke was on anyone who thought the fire would burn you down, when it was only teaching you how to become the flame. And trust me, nothing terrifies the darkness more than discovering the thing it tried to destroy learned how to glow